everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing really well. So, it seemed very popular last month when I did a wrap-up video, so we're going to do that again for August, and this one will be a little bit shorter since I only managed to finish 11 books, most of which are on Kindle Unlimited. I've got 2 more that I'm reading, but one I just started 2 days ago and it's fairly long, and the other I was super excited for, but it's taking me a while to get through. So I'll show you what that one is. But, oh, little man. But I won't be doing a review for that one anytime soon. I'm still only about halfway done. But you don't mind, do you? So long as I remember to scratch your chest while I do it, huh? So long as you get some nub-nubs. So, shall we jump into it with a little bit of fantasy and horror and some action and some really messed up fairy tales and a sweet little man to get through all of it. So, the first one that I managed to get through this month was Skeletons and Scones by Mary Maxwell, and if you can't tell by the name, it's a cozy murder mystery that I've read some that I really enjoyed. This one was a bit heavy-handed on the mush for me. It's like, she was supposed to be kind of young-ish, but yeah, the way it read to me was a more middle-aged, small-town romance, the white picket fence dream. So that kind of, hey honey, hey handsome, are we going out for dinner tonight? The nickname thing was just a bit, it felt like a TV sitcom from the 50s to me. So that kind of killed it for me. But I enjoyed the actual murder mystery itself that this one's centered around in a small town in Colorado. And the background is a bakery. And at the end of the book, we get a few recipes and instructions how to make some of the treats mentioned in this book, so that was pretty cool. But I could see if you like the mushy side of murder mysteries and cozies, then this is definitely for you. If you like the more sassy and magical kind, which I was kind of hoping it'd be a little bit closer to that by the name, but that's on me, so you might enjoy it. I have done a full book review of this one already on my channel, so check it out if you'd like. The second book I got to that I really should have grabbed off my shelf because it's one that I actually own is Area 7 by Matthew Riley. And this one, it's the second in a series that features Scarecrow. The first being Ice Station that I read a long time ago. And if that name sounds familiar to you, Scarecrow was featured in a different Matthew Riley book from a series I've been reading, the Jack West Jr. series, where it's basically save the world from basically the universe wants to kill us and some bad guys are going to let it happen unless they get to be the one to save us and get all the glory. But for Scarecrow, he is a military man that thinks he's on boring detail, just, keeping an eye on the president while he goes and checks out a couple Air Force bases with the Secret Service and some other folks. Totally boring whatever detail, right? Nothing's gonna happen. Wrong! We've got some traitors that want to, take over and said, well, some soldiers died on your watch, so we're going to prove you're unfit by killing you and then, wiping out 14 cities full of innocents to prove that we actually care about the people. So, the villains are pretty freaking stupid, but they're very clever in what they do, but their reasons for why we should get to rule and you can't are as backwards as they come, so that kind of irritated me once they, gave the reason of why we hate you and we want to take over. But there was stories upon stories in this one. We've got the whole, oh crap, we need to get out of this base before, president gets offed and we've got terrorists running the country. But also, oh crap, we need to save this child that is in one of these two bases, because there's Area 7 and Area 8. And it's to do with a virus that can wipe out everybody, but it's related to race. So it's like, this kid could help make the cure, kind of. And it's very complicated. So, like, we've got traitors upon traitors, like, backstabbing each other, and everybody just desperately trying to survive and save the world. So, and then there's a little almost romance that he gets crap for, because he might be good in a, gunfight, but he doesn't know how to deal with actual people. So, I loved that one. I definitely need some more of that series. And the next one I have for you was another Kindle Unlimited. It's Atlantis Gold by Rick Chesler. It's the first in his Omega Adventures series. And they already have a dedicated enemy. And, they've got their friendship and their want to have a relationship, but ain't happening yet going. So that, in respect, it felt like it was, maybe the second or third, like, oh yeah, we know these are always going to be the bad guys. These, black market treasure hunters that are buying off the, officials and the police and whatnot to get, cover up the fact that they killed folks to get these treasures that they're going to sell. And, oh yeah, we're already, like, retired Navy guys, and I've got a huge crush on her, and he's giving me crap about it. So that was a little weird for a first book, but the plot of it, I loved it. It's like, they're in Egypt. Just, typical archaeology deal, excavating more of the Pyramid of Giza. And they find a flooded room in the middle of Egyptian desert. What the heck? And apparently what they find in this flooded room is a link to Atlantis, which, I don't know about y'all, but I love Egypt. I love the legends of Atlantis, so combining the two was definitely, just big hit for me. I loved it. There's action, there's adventure, there's actually some credible-ish sounding, clues to Atlantis, like, and how they do everything. There's some sass, some, back and forth with the bad guys and just giving each other crap. It just, overall, it is really fun. So, go get the book. If you have Kindle Unlimited, go download it and read it. It is amazing. And then I also started a nice fantasy series on Kindle Unlimited. But they got along and I finished that book and Kindle went, hey, you should check this out. Here's some recommended. Okay, that sounds even better. So I only read 2 of that series before I jumped to something else, but I definitely will be going back. And it's Curse of Shadows and Thorns and Court of Ice and Ash by L.J. Andrews. And it's part of the Broken Kingdom series. It's the first 2 books, and they were definitely very fun. They're very fantasy heavy, but it was still a lot of fun for me. Because basically, what this is we're following this, niece of the king whose dad is sick, and she has to basically be married off to keep the king from pulling his healers back and killing her father. She doesn't exactly get along with her dad, but, that's still her dad. She doesn't want him to die just because, she wants to actually have her own life instead of, all right, I'm going to shut up and marry some prick that is hoping everybody else dies so he can be king and wants me to be a quiet little maiden while he goes and has affairs. So, she's very sassy. I love it. We start off seeing her in a bar with all the servants, drinking and playing cards, and she's not allowed there. One, it's only supposed to be men. But she's royalty. She's not supposed to ever leave the palace or drink or play games or do anything other than worry about her hair and her dress. And, let me learn how to, sew on occasion. But we have cooks and maids and servants for all this stuff. But she's gonna do it anyway, and when she's sneaking out, she gets caught by Legion Grey, who everybody is terrified of. Like, they respect him, but they're also freaking terrified. He has quite the reputation. So, she's like, well, crap, what am I gonna do to, hide this? Don't tell my parents or the king. And she ends up enjoying that one because, as typical, the, royalty gets married off. They don't get a say, so they're basically like, here, we have a negotiator to pick who your husband's going to be depending on how much they're willing to give for you and whether they can actually tolerate you. But Legion Grey, on the other hand, pretends that, I have to marry you off, but I want you to actually kind of like the guy that you marry, so for once, you get an input. Your older sister is already marrying your cousin, because, ew, but are we really surprised? Old times, kingdoms, they ain't exactly known for keeping it out of the family. And there's a lot of foreshadowing for what ends up happening is her older sister is very much, I'm going to be queen and bump everybody else. It's all about me. How are people not proper? And she's just snobby, can't wait to be queen, and hates the current queen. And because basically their mom is the king's sister. And she's marrying the king's son. And so it's like, yay, I'll be queen. And they're bitching about how, oh, this sucks. We have to wait for him to die. And she just kind of smirks. So we're really not surprised by what all happens. It's just a matter of how it happens. We know there's going to be a coup. They're way too, full of themselves and sure that they are going to be running things very soon. And we get quite a few twists along the way. And lots of, I did not see them being part of that or them having control of this. But let's just say she gets a little crush on Legion and it's mutual, but everybody is not exactly who they say to be or only who they say that they are. So we get a lot more than we bargained for, which continues in the Court of Ice and Ash, which is the coup has already happened. We've already got the selfish evil queen and her cousin/husband that are ruling things and killing everybody who doesn't agree with them, including family members, and also figures like they're trying to, get her sister back. It's like, you're either going to rule under us or you're going to die, because since you're not a typical snobby, royal person, they actually like you. So people would be happy to off me and have you take over. Since there's nobody else in line, they've already taken out everyone else that is next in line. Like, you would be the ruler, and I'm not having that, so we have to find you and control you. And it's like, well, I only killed these people because you didn't show up and let me kill you, so everybody's death is actually your fault. But that ain't going over well. Our secondary princess, who didn't want to be a princess, didn't want to get married, is now running around leading a band of misfits and breaking out prisoners and leading an army of sorts and getting entangled with the other kingdom. Because basically this whole thing starts of, we've got, this magical group and just some straight up warriors. And, the magical folks were fine. They were actually the last rulers of that line, magical, and married one of the just regular rulers from this other kingdom. And this woman was all for, she married into this kingdom for love. She actually loved that king. and they had kids, and there was betrayal, war, and the people took out the magic folks, and now have made them all servants. And either that or they're poor and hiding and got some rebellion going on. And they're just like, all right, we're going to kidnap you and do tests on you and try to steal your magic, because we're not against magic, we just don't want anybody that isn't us having it. So either we get your magic or you die. And so, but there's rumors that the old line is still going, because they haven't been, people haven't been ruling for very long. They're pretty much new reign. It was, her great-grandpa that was, murderous. We can't live in peace. I have to control everything. And, well, now these magic people decide, we hate the new queen even more than everyone else. We've learned a few things. We're uprising and joining in with this, rebel princess and trying to take back, and we're done being nice. We're going to slaughter them. So we leave off with we find out quite a few secrets, but the evil princess is still on the throne and feeling very threatened. And there is some spice and some romance that isn't creepy incest, but it's also very, we're mad at each other even though we're totally in love with each other, and being evil to, protect the other one. So this is very much I wouldn't call it it's not children's, but it's a little bit, there's kind of elements of both. It feels kind of young adult, and then we got some very spicy things going on. So, kind of older-ish. Very fun, though. Now, Hooked, on the other hand, this is another Kindle Unlimited, and when I read, what it was supposed to be about, I was super excited. It sounds like another just dark, twisted, take on Disney. It's like, all right, the bad guys are actually now the good guys are the bad guys. It's gonna be a little dark and modernized. And it kind of is that. But it's more like what I imagine if Disney wrote 50 Shades of Grey would be. There's plot, and then there's literally 30-page detailed adult scenes between Hook and Peter Pan's daughter. Hook is still, he's Hook. He's a bad guy. And then we've got Peter Pan, who is actually worse than Hook. And is more, Hook goes after his Peter Pan's daughter. She doesn't know who he is, but he knows who she is. And, well, I'm going to enjoy getting her to fall for me just so I can do things to her and own her and, take her back to daddy broken and miserable and no longer innocent. And go, ha ha, she'll never think of these things or me without being miserable, and you'll know that I ruined the only thing you care about. Because we kind of get a feeling, he doesn't exactly tell the details of what happened, but you can read between the lines, and it's basically a family vendetta, plus Hook started off his being evil by murdering his uncle, and again, we don't get exactly why, because I'm pretty sure the book would not be published if he out and out said what happened, but you can read between the lines, and it's some very messed up things that will possibly upset some people, considering what the uncle did to a young child who waited till he was 18 and, all right, I'm an adult. I got a new father figure that doesn't do these dirty things to me. You're done for. So the actual story, I loved it. We've got Hook trying to get back at Peter Pan, and we've got some romance that is twisted but actually kind of has a happy ending that works, weirdly enough. We've got some growth, we've got some drug wars and all kinds of stuff, because, Hook has his bars, but really he's a drug runner. He's got his little empire, and Peter Pan is a rich businessman, just, salt of the earth, who's actually also a drug dealer and murderer. So, it's very fun watching them get back at each other and seeing all the sass and what all happens, but it's also very disturbing and needlessly crude, which kind of fits. I mean, he's a bad guy. He isn't exactly going to be, mush, romantic love making when he's talking about what he's going to do and what he is doing to her. So, if you need a little spice with your Hook is hot, this is the one for you, and it's the first of a series, but yeah, it wasn't to my taste, so I didn't follow up with it, but apparently it's very popular, and I can get why, because I watched Once Upon a Time, and that Hook, normally, eyeliner and stuff on guys, not for me, but that man pulled it off. Actually, I like him better in eyeliner than I did in some of the other movies I've seen him in, where he was actually, typical suit or a priest, or, not the emo nail polish thing. So, I can get where that one came from. But that was by Emily McIntyre. If you need some spice in adult Disney fairy tales, check that one out. And then, as promised, I got into some horror for some Summerween with Firestarter by Stephen King. And that one was a very psychological thriller and just creepy. We've got, these people that were drug tested on, and basically they thought it was hallucinogenic, and no, it was not. They kind of gained some powers, and then when they hooked up, passed it on in a very upgraded way to their daughter, who is a fire starter. Do not upset the baby. Those poor parents, as if newborns aren't hard enough, especially the first time. No, we've got one that will set herself, her parents, the room, anything on fire whenever she gets upset. So, and they are on the run from the people that did this testing, to me it kind of felt like fairy tale-ish in that we've got the little girl and her dad, but once again, mommy's missing. She's been murdered. And it's by the people that administered this drug that's either you work for us and we figure out how to harness this power for us, or your national security issue and we're gonna get you. So they've been on the run for the last year or so, and when they get caught, it doesn't go well. They get caught about 2/3-ish of the way in. The ending, well, I'm glad this was the only one in the series, because I'm mad at some of what they did. Kill off every person if you want, but you hurt the doggy, I'm done. And they were mean to the doggies at the end, so be warned. Don't go into this all cheery. There's a reason I won't read Cujo or Pet Cemeteries. I know what happens to the doggies. It's not a surprise. I watched Marley and Me thinking it was a comedy, and it wasn't. That ending was rude, and we should have been warned, so I'm warning you, if you're a dog lover like me, just skip the ending. Because it's awesome, and I'm glad for the little girl, but I am very upset about what, he did. So, I kind of skimmed over some parts there. So, fair warning on that one. There should totally be, disclaimers if there's going to be harming animals in books or movies. But if it wasn't for that part, I enjoyed the rest of it. It was typical Stephen King. Very good. And then I got back into the fantasy on Kindle Unlimited with The Druid by Jeff Wheeler. And apparently that it was listed as, you have to read this one. It's an awesome book. It's one of our tops right now. And I can see why. I mean, it's very heavy fantasy, which is generally not my thing. But, it's very magical. It doesn't have the complicated, wait, I'm mixing up these characters because they're all the same friggin' name with, like, one letter changed. I still can't pronounce it kind of deal. It's basically, it takes place in an abbey where, all the orphans have to serve time until they're 18 to repay back that, they were taken in. And if they're good, the person running the abbey will write them a recommendation, say, hey, they're good cooks or dishwashers or field workers or whatever. Give them an actual paying job now. And kicks them out once they're 18. But there's also magic in this land. Like, their version of religion is, instead of calling them God, it's the medium. And if you're good, the medium will give you power. If you're greedy or selfish or evil, you won't have power. You can ask the medium all you want, they won't help you. And these alder masters that run the abbeys and the high seer can talk to the medium, and they always get what they want. They have the powers to do things. And the one abbey where everything starts, the aldermaster is asked to, hey, we just took out these people they're druids. They worship the land. They're basically, think it's like pagan versus Christianity. And the pagans are evil, and they must be wiped out because they're a bunch of traitors they're bad. They get power from the land, and when really they worship the same deity, but they don't believe that it has to be done the same way. It's like, we still pray to the medium, ask for help, and if we're good people, she'll provide us the powers needed to protect ourselves and others and do what's necessary. But we don't preach about it and whatnot. It's basically, it's two sides of the same coin, but both think the other one is pure evil and heretics. So gotta off the heretics. But the way it doesn't come off as preachy though. It's very fun. It's your typical fantasy setting. They go to this abbey, and a couple of them go together. That our main character has a crush on one of the boys she used to work in the field with, but when he's with his friends, he's teenage prick. When they're not around, he's actually a nice guy. And so she's all excited that he's coming with them, but his 3 friends got left behind. So now maybe they can actually be something. Since he won't have the bad influences, he's pissed that his friends are getting left behind, and he has to go somewhere else without his little crew. And she's tasked with keeping an eye on their prisoner, this heretic druid, which is messed up because, they have these 12 tomes written by the people who, started all of this, that, communed with the medium and started to understand her and, understand the magic that she bestows upon people if they are worthy. And, it's his tome. He wrote it. But since he won't give it to this new church, he's been imprisoned. And she's supposed to make friends with him, get him to teach her everything that he knows, and give her the tome. And in her spying on him to, make friends and go back to the Aldermaster and say, what all she's learned, she learns how crooked some things are. It's like, wait, they're going after all of these people who are actually believe the exact same thing they do. They believe in the same power. They just don't do it the same way. They're more peaceful about it. And we find out a lot along the way that some of these people that pretend to be, communing and have a great relationship with this medium, they get an attitude when you call them out, because they really don't have that relationship that they say, because they've become, greedy about it. Oh, they like me the best, so I'm amazing, everybody bow down. That's not what you're supposed to do if they like you, so you're gonna lose your powers, but still pretend that you're just questioning their greatness, not to cover up the fact that they really can't do anything anymore because their corruption bit them in the butt. And so now she's on the run because the boy that she, was crushing on did some things, and it's all gotten messed up. So it's very much, I love it. We've got all this personal drama. We've got, it kind of feels all Spanish Inquisition, but set in fantasy land. In way back in the day, I mean, they're still harvesting flax and they don't even really have candles. They have these things called leerings that are controlled by magic, and it's basically they carve a face into a stone, and it has the power to do, either start a fire, hold back, the water, move stones, what have you. It basically kind of controls nature and things in it, but only those that are strong with the medium, basically, they're, most saintly believers can control them. And our little orphan, who's supposed to keep that on the hush-hush, because you're just what they call a wretched. So you're wretched. You're never going to be, good with the medium. So you shouldn't have these powers. But she does, and she uses them for good to protect her friends and herself. And pretty much, anybody else. So she does good and realizes that her crush is not good and has lots of consequences. So I'm definitely kind of looking into the next book, as we end with them on the run from multiple sides and all kinds of messed upness, but you will have to read it to find out. If you like fantasy, you are going to love this one. If you just kind of like seeing the bad guys sneakily get called out for pretending to be good, it's also very satisfying. And then the last books I got into, I read 3 out of the series. I'm on the 4th and final one right now. It's basically take everything you think you know about your favorite princesses and throw it out the door, because even like the best ones are now evil. Then they're very easy, very quick reads for the most part. The first 3 aren't even 200 pages. The first one, which is Cinderella's story, is only about 125-ish. We also have Snow White, who's about 160 pages, and Rapunzel, who was about 190 pages, and these are all by Anita Vale. And it's basically, they're all royalty, and they are all pure evil. Like, we know Cinderella's story of, she's an orphan, her stepmom is evil, her sisters are evil, and she's this pretty little damsel in distress that marries the prince so that she can get away from them. And in this one, mommy's never been around, daddy dies when she's young, and stepmom is, now that I don't have to pretend to like you for your dad, I can treat you like trash and make you my servant. And she's this pretty little blonde thing that wants to marry the prince. But it's so that she can be the evil queen and murder her family and anyone else that bothers her. Not to mention, everybody, all the women in town hate her because she's hooking up with everybody's husbands. So, she's never been anything to look up to. She's like, well, I loved my daddy, and then to make my new family love me, I was happy to be their, maid. And so it's my fault that they don't pay me, but, well, bump them. I hate them. I'm the best thing in the world, and I should get to sleep with everyone and be the queen, so they all have to do whatever I say. Because what's the point of being queen if you're not pure evil? And so she gets magic to make herself more attractive, to be able to hook up with everybody's husbands by doing good deeds. And, her fairy godmother rewards her with this, jar that slowly accumulates white magic that she takes to make her hair brighter, her eyes bluer, her lashes longer, her teeth whiter, anything like that. Basically it all goes towards making her pretty. It was supposed to be, this will make you a good person so you don't turn out like your mother, who, we find out in bits and pieces was, she was trash just like Cinderella. But no, Cinderella doesn't use this to become a actually nice person and getting rewarded for doing good things. She does them very angrily, but just doesn't say it. It's like, well, you did the dishes and you only thought about smashing somebody with the plate. You put on a fake smile, so here's your reward. So it actually backfired and made her worse, but that's still fairy godmother's, little buddy. And so she gets the prince, and he's exactly what she deserves. Though, because she wants him, treats everybody like trash, and, stabs everybody in the back to get him, and then realizes that Prince Charming ain't charming. It's like, you can punish and murder whoever you want, but I'm gonna do what I want to you, and don't complain when I have mistresses. It's like, nobody tells me no. We just don't let my parents know that I do whatever I want. So, and so she ends up being Snow White's evil stepmother. And we're not really surprised. We know the prince is evil because we see them together at the ball, and we see Snow White at this ball where Cinderella is headhunting the prince. And they all three have an interaction that does not go well, and it's very, we can tell what's coming. So, and then we lead into the second book is Sneaky Snow White, where she's older now, and Cinderella has gone from just being mean to her to out and out openly trying to murder Snow White, and is obsessed with the mirror. So, that's one of the things I love about these books is, the first one is Sinful Cinderella, but yet it has vibes of some of the other, fairy tales. We get the hints of Cinderella and Snow White, they're the main ones. Cinderella doesn't mix it up as much. It's mostly focused on the Cinderella, just her, not so much the sweet damsel in distress as the evil one that puts on a pretty face. But in Snow White, we get the mixture of the two, because Cinderella said she was going to be the evil queen, because there's no other kind to be. And she takes that to heart. She worships at her mirror and asks her, who's the fairest in all the land. And she can tell that Snow White she's a beautiful little girl. She's going to be, gorgeous once she hits 16 or, adult age in these books. It's like, no, she'll be prettier than me, so we gotta offer before she's prettier than me. Because that is her whole thing is, I will be the evil queen, but every guy in the world will want me because I'm beautiful. So, we got that going, and we have the 7 dwarves, but that was the funniest part to me. They're dwarves, but they're not little. I don't know why they call themselves that. Because they are ginormous, and they're a band of, violent criminals. They're, 7-foot tall, tree trunks of men carrying axes and spiked clubs and going through the woods, kidnapping people and stealing from them and doing whatever they want with their maiden victims. And they're the dwarves. So I did not see that one coming, and it cracked me up. And of course, Snow White has a crush on a boy who, is. You can see how this one is going to play out, and they're both kind of at fault, though he bugs me more. Like, figure, she's 15 years old and in love. She ain't exactly grown up, and she was the pampered princess, even though her dad hated her because he wanted a son, and what's the point of a daughter except for to marry off and help somebody else's kingdom? So he was a trash father. Like, she never had anyone care about her because mommy was been dead for a long time, and we get to see eventually how that happened. Is messed up. All of these books, they are messed up. And then we have Rotten Rapunzel, who actually is, of the three, and, well, I'm currently reading the fourth, which is Belle's story. Normally, I love Belle. She's one of my top 5. Now, not so much. Just like all the others, she is evil. Rapunzel, she lives in her tower with Snow White, who has adopted her because they're half-sisters. And she is a twin. Belle is her twin sister, who is raised by Cinderella's fairy godmother, who they call God Nutter, because she's crazy, and her magic wand is her pipe. Yeah. Definitely not following the rules there. And, Snow White has ice powers, kind of Elsa-ish. And they live in this little tower. And then, and Rapunzel ends up sneaking off with the boy, because what else are you going to do when you're 15 years old and lived in a tower forever, and that's the first human you've ever seen besides your sister that's raised you and won't actually tell you what's the deal with your, mom, who has got, some Sleeping Beauty vibes going on. And that's a theme for quite a while. It follows into Rotten Rapunzel and in the last book of Bad Beauty. It's a very fun, messed up, like, she's this sweet, naive thing, but she really wants to live in the palace and be the queen. And, she's happy to find out she has a sister until she actually gets to meet Belle, who is, I grew up in a town, I'm Beauty, because that's her name, and they don't call her Belle, her name is Beauty, because she's so beautiful. And she knows she's gorgeous, and everyone should look, up to her. And again, she wants to be the queen, so everyone has to obey her, so she can be the evil queen. Because what kind of queen is there worth having that isn't violent and evil? Like, what the heck? So, they've turned Belle evil, and Rapunzel quickly decides, I don't care if you're my twin sister. I'm going to be the queen. Not evil, but I'm going to be the queen, and I'm going to get rid of you to do it. So, she has some fun with the nice little twist of, there is a beast, there is a rose garden, but it ain't what you expect. And I'm about halfway through of Bad Beauty right now, and that's the only one that is a full-length novel, which is why I haven't finished it. It's over 400 pages. It is a very fun one. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to happen, but it features the Beast a lot more. And, we get to, see Snow White again. We get to see, some of the stepsisters. We hear about Cinderella, and, we get to, find out what everybody thinks of her. We hear a little bit about the dwarves. It's a bunch of fun. So, again, it's a whole 4-part series by Anita Vale. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It is amazing. It is the most dark and twisted, like, I hate the princesses, but I love that I hate them, that they're so evil and so exactly opposite of what you expect. And I love all the nods to, these other fairy tales that we all know, all these princesses that we grew up watching on Disney, or, trying to find the dark versions of. So I hope you enjoy this. I will be doing more in-depth reviews of some of these throughout, the next couple of weeks, as I'm behind on actual reviews. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope this helps you find your next book, either real on, physical book, ebook. And I hope you take care and have a nice week. And I will see you next time. Bye. Happy reading.